So that's how the UN finds out what's happening in Wales. So what is happening like? Let's start with the good.
In Wales, in the past few years in particular, there have been really very positive developments. One of the positive developments was the establishment of a Commissioner's Office.
So that any child who is worried about what's happening to them can go to the Children's Commissioner Office and get support. He's there so that when he has those experiences from individual children, he can tell government, he can tell local councils, he can tell health services, he can tell a range of other services whether they should be doing things differently to reflect on the needs of children.
The school council works by electing 2 children from each class every year, and then the children then join a committee and they decide on a chairperson, a treasurer, a secretary, and they have meetings once a month.
Some children go to a meeting discussing what ideas other children come up with to change the school and how it looks, to make it better.
We go in like a room and we talk about things that needs like working on in school, and then we try to see if we can make it better.
From there then they take it to the head or whoever needs to get the jobs done, and quite a lot of things aren't got done. I think it's positive to know children feel they say what's going on in the school, because they have a better understanding idea of what's going on. Sometimes us the teachers don't know what children want and what children need, so we get their voice.
You like being part of the school council? Yeah. So it gives you a chance to like bond with other people.
No, you're making the school a better place.
What the Extending Entitlement agenda aims to do is say clearly to young people of Wales, you have rights, you can exercise those rights. Young people have told us that they want us to treat them with respect, they want us to listen to what they say, and it's why we put the statutory school councils in place, for example, as well. So extending entitlement is about taking this agenda all the way through beyond school, beyond college, into young people's working lives. So it's focused on 11 to 25-year-olds. It's a big flagship policy for the Assembly Government. And it's about organisations like Funky Dragon working very, very closely with us to show how responsible young people across Wales can really influence the policy agenda.
There is a real commitment, I think, at national government level in Wales towards the idea of rights and improving the situation of children's rights in Wales.
I think it's absolutely fantastic that we have a Welsh Assembly government that has adopted the Convention as the principle of all their policy, and that is totally different to the other jurisdictions within the United Kingdom.
Now, there are other areas where there really hasn't been such good progress, and there are other areas, again, where there are some real serious concerns.
And now for the bad.
I think that we still have so much to do. When we consider that 27% of our children are still living in poverty, that's 190,000 of the total population, then that seems to me that is a bit of a disgrace, considering that we are a developing and prosperous nation.
I don't think that in an advanced country that we can argue that it is acceptable that the gap between the children who are best off in our society and the children who are worse off in our society is still growing.
We're also restricted in terms of, because we're working in Wales, in terms of the fact that, say, juvenile justice is a non-devolved area, so it means that it's sometimes difficult creating sort of policies for children that are much better for children in Wales, so not be too political about that.
The issue of physical punishment of children is a big issue. It's the Assembly government have taken it as far, I think, as they can take it. It's out of their control now, but I think if we could do that, I think it would reflect in the same way as countries like Sweden, where by changing the law around physical punishment of children, you are laying a foundation for a broader change. So I think that's an important one.
We've got many groups who are suffering a lot of discrimination. I'm sure that you're aware of the way asylum-seeking children and asylum seekers are demonised in our media today. And
they are treated in a way that is just strong for a civilized society. You know, it's absolutely wrong. The UK government says that these children don't actually have the same rights as children who are born here. And if you go back to the whole idea of rights, everybody is born and holds on to a set of rights. And just because you've moved across one border to another, that is wrong.
It's just not right for children to be deported back to their country of origin if they're going to be persecuted there. But this happens, and for me that is completely wrong.
So what are you going to do about it? Because all this reporting ain't going to mean diddly if you don't stand and get involved and start pushing to get your voice heard. One of the ways you could do this is by throwing yourself into Funky Dragon. Not me, you tools. I'm merely the eponymous hero. A mere zoomorphic personification. I'm a cartoon. Funky Dragon is the Children's and Young People's Assembly for Wales.
Funky Dragon, which is the only, I understand, charity in the whole of the United Kingdom which has young people under the age of 18 as trustees.
It's known as a peer-led organisation, so it's run by young people, for young people, to promote young people's voice and opinions. There's a long history dating back to 1998 when a group of young people thought it would be a good idea to have a national platform for young people to speak, to express their views to what was then the newly established Welsh Assembly.
It's certainly changed the dynamic between children and young people and government in Wales. We now have this channel that wasn't existing in the past, so that children and young people can actively communicate with ministers on a fairly regular basis.
We have a Grand Council made up of 100 young people, and then those young people come from various youth forums, youth councils, organisations, specific interest groups from across Wales. And what we try and do then is work to achieve change. Examples of that would be when we first met with Jane Davison, our young people pointed out that pupils in schools didn't have a complaints procedure. Jane Davison and her team have worked on that. Now all pupils in Wales have a complaints procedure. We've worked with Transport Department, talking about transport. We've very much done a lot of work around the extended entitlement agenda. But it's really, what are the young people's issues and how do we achieve the change in those?
True to the principles of the UNCRC, kids are involved in all the decisions made by Funky Dragon. To be honest with you, the kids are in charge.
I enjoy being part of Funky Dragon. It can be serious at times. We do get a lot of work done, but I have so many friends here now that I've made since coming. I think I joined at the AGM, which was 9 months ago, and met so many people now that I'm in contact with outside of Funky Dragon, and I really enjoy that, and having the opportunity to speak about things that affect me.
Funky Dragon, I think, is fantastic. It gives a lot of good feedback to our forum.
It's a good idea. I mean, it's like the Welsh Assembly consulting young people, and we're being involved and given the opportunity to have our voices heard and to say, give our opinions.
Good thing about Funky Dragon is you don't just represent Neatham at all, but you represent Wales as well.
It's really good what it's doing for children and young people in Wales to get their voices heard and really getting a message out there.
You've heard a bit about the history of the children's rights movement and how the United Nations was set up after the Second World War. We've told you about the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, what it is, what rights it contains, and how the UN finds out how each country treats its kids. And you've heard some of the good and bad things the people have already said about the state of things in Wales. That's my job done and dusted. Now it's up to you to get involved in your school councils, in Funky Dragon, and to vote on the issues that matter to you. To write the UNCRC report, we need your views on loads of stuff. We want to know if you're a young person. whether you use the health or education services, feel discriminated against, or even just watch TV? Do you get your say in the decisions that affect you? We can't write the report if you don't tell us what's happening to you. So if you've got something to say, tell us! To find out how you can tell us, take a look at our website, www.funkydragon.org, or look out for our address and stuff on the end credits. Right, I'm off to play some rugby, sing a couple of songs, mine a little bit of coal, and dream about some sheep. Layers, peeps!